Hello there. My name is Clarissa Bando, and this is Ethics Unplugged. Today, I'm here to share with you a very serious issue, something that is ready to break your brain. We are looking at ethical issues when it comes to public relations, even ethical dilemmas and whatnot. Today, I have with me a very astute gentleman in the field of public relations who's going to, first of all, talk to us about the evolution of PR, how come ethics even became involved in PR in the first place. I mean, why do we have to be ethical? You never know. Today, we are going to find out right here on Ethics Unplugged. You're very welcome, Mr. Ishmael Ajay Lassie.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Right. You're welcome to Ethics Unplugged. Here, we try to divulge into issues of ethics when it comes to public relations. And here, we're looking to have our viewers understand why ethics in the first place. How did ethics even come about? Can't we just practice public relations on the go?
Well, so ethics has been with us since time immemorial.
Mm-hmm.
I think as people or as a field, public relations as a field, if there's nothing like ethics, then you can imagine all the chaos that would happen. I mean,
Right.
people will just tell lies and they'll walk away. There will be no credibility and the field itself will suffer. So it's just like any other field. There are ethics that we need to abide with it if we are dealing or we are practicing.
Right. Okay. So take us through how did it all come about?
Well, so public relations has evolved from what it used to be just publicity to a more strategic communication and interactive communication between organizations and their publics. And if you are talking about the evolution of public relations, it is best to use some of the popular principles or models to define it or talk about it. And in this case, I would like to use the popular Brunet's for models of public relations.
Okay.
The precedential model, public model, the two-way symmetric model, and then there's the two-way symmetric model.
Right.
I'll just be very quick about it. So public relations started in the 18th and 19th century. Started as just publicity mass. I mean, people creating the mass to achieve what they want. And when we talk about that era, the most iconic person that comes to mind is the Phineas Manom, who was a master of staging events. So P.T. Manom or Phineas Manom was the one who, at the time, was using public relations. I mean, creating bars around events to get public attention. So that was how public relations actually started. Then we moved from that era to an era where people think that, no, the public should be informed.
Right.
Just giving information out to the public. And there was no relation or transactional communication between organizations and their publics. The iconic person who we also attribute or we also recognize when we talk about the public information model is Ivy Lee. And at the time, there was an incident, a train wreck that happened somewhere in Pennsylvania. And that was where Ivy Lee called pressmen to come and then witness the event and then report on the incidents. And it was the beginning of transparency that started, the whole agenda of shifting away from bars to informing the public, not concealing information.
Right.
Yes. Then away from that was the two-way symmetrical model, where organizations were sort of engaging their publics, but it was very imbalanced.
Right.
It was not like a 50-50 thing. I mean, organizations were just engaging the people for their benefits or to make it look like, we think about you. But that was actually not it.
So they were trying to generate information to better serve them or
kind of, I mean,
more to their benefit.
For you to feel that we are part of you or we are on your side. So that era employed a lot of persuasion to, achieve corporate objectives or individual objectives.
Right. Okay.
In terms of public relations. So the most iconic person we also attribute that era to is Edmund Barnes, who used insights, research, and study to understand human behavior and know how to persuade people. A lot. So PR employed a lot of strategic thinking, scientific methods to achieve objectives. Then we came to the two-way symmetrical model. It's just the opposite of the two-way symmetrical model. So that era was where organizations were actually engaging, their publics or their audience to, have like a consensus on a subject. So it was to actually have a mutual beneficial engagement between a company or an organization
and it's public.
Yeah, so
interesting.
This is how to explain the evolution of public relations using James Groenick's 4 model of PR. Away from that, public relation keeps evolving, and thanks to technology and social media, it has become more interactive. People are engaging. I mean, you just post something on social media in the name of an organization, and people or your followers or those online can actually comment,
interact,
and it is also helping us to hold people accountable. I mean, if you are a PR person working for a firm and you don't want to stay credible and you don't want to be trustworthy, people will come after you. That is how PR has evolved. So it is no more about the publicity, the stance. It's no more about just giving information to the public. It is no more about just creating that imbalanced relationship, but creating a very balanced relationship for organization and individual benefits. So basically, this is the evolution of public relations, and I think things are still changing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ishmael Ajay Lasse. He has just taken us through the evolution of PR. We have come to understand how PR has moved from creating buzz and publicity stunts to the two-way symmetrical model, where there's now a two-way beneficial relationship between a company and its publics. Now, this brings us to today's topic, because we are looking at a situation where we are looking whether the institution should benefit, or like the people should benefit, or should we hide out? I'm going to share that with you very soon. Welcome back to Ethics Unplugged. And like I said, my name is Clarissa Bando. Today I have with me in the studio 2 practitioners and 2 managers who are going to be helping me discuss the topic for the day. Now I'm going to be sharing the topic with you, and then I will introduce my guests and we'll take things from there. Now here's the topic. A major oil spill occurs in a Ghanaian fishing community, threatening livelihoods. As a PR manager representing the oil company, you have been directed by your superiors to offer transport money, aka bribes, to journalists in exchange for downplaying the environmental impact. The identified reporters are also eager to receive these monies in order to remain nonchalant in this development. What do you, as a competent PR manager, do about this situation? Now, I believe we all know that we've already had an intro to how ethics even got a standard point when it comes to PR. So we are going to be looking at the ethical side of this issue, and then, of course, the management's story to this issue. I have with me in the studio Mr. Gerald Jabbar and Miss Rebecca Adile-Mensah, who are going to be speaking to the management's perspective of this whole issue. I also have with me in the studio Miss Anastasia Opoku-Jefi and Miss Charity Gabra, who are student practitioners who are going to also be speaking to the perspective of the PR practitioner. I will first of all want to speak to the mother girl, in this case, the manager, sorry, just say. When we go on to journalists to cover up the volume schools, talk to the manager.
It's the real communication of a New York Times. That he gave the is organization was given on this total of this issue. So finding ways that means to try and curb the situation of damage of reputation. I think in a way, it's okay from the management's perspective. It might not be okay with others, but as a manager, I think I will do same because that is to protect the image of my company. I have toiled, I have hustled for over some years now, built a reputation for myself, and you're going to use just one issue to just brush everything off. I mean, so I think I really, yeah.
Miss Rebecca, what exactly is your take on Bible in the first years? It's what money. It's going to cover you. But for our right. Oh, just trust it. And then you know how that. Yeah. So it's better to silence young and prevent intruders. So these are the states that you value things. Right. I am very sure that practitioners have a very different story to tell. Miss Anastasia, it's a really wise what you managers want to. So I think it's definitely. But your job is like towards long-term goals and other things. So why pay attention to something that is basically just some technology to repeat it? One of the things that when I'm mistakes how it's going to take to move and all that. So as we are practitioners, you got things from our own experience. It's sort it's I can speak on that. Yeah, and I like something tackle issues everything. And then tackle, right? Or if it's like I mean, it's very unethical for a PR person to even figure out why they were meant to something else. Why consider the matter in the first place? No, it has some regulations, some temporary, like you said, temporary packaging for the company. It still doesn't hold water as they it's not ethical to people give some bribes to people. And then, I have my goods to saying this. Aside the fact that it's on the even if they're looking for space, I can see that okay, instead of giving you money, one of the corporate states these things. But these are ordinary fishermen. You might just having to cut out their jobs and then and force from your company is because the implementing so why compensates them try to clear them out them than trying to improve the interest. I mean, management just wants to get it from blood, right? And I think they're going to fix us in places.
It's but if the media gets to know how pervasive the media is, it gets to everybody there. That means very, very strong. And as I said earlier, we built a company over some period of time. It takes the company to very downside. And we might not even rise from this issue. So yes, we're tackling the issue in this manner to save the face. It's better.
Well, I'm saying just that misunderstanding concept that this is like a line of people. So when you find out that the family fits right now, then they are with you. And then I also like to give it from his own words. He said sorry, the new media is activists. So basically, that just covered this the countries that media has. It also has to do with the accessibility. How media has become very accessible. Like the media, the masses should be more
and it's beyond media. So they more about just how media can cover and use in just some seconds. A lot of people are really good about it. The fact that right now I sit here, record something maybe the next minute it has reached the lots of people. So I want Shaman to let me come and say this issue is very detrimental. I'm not okay with it. Okay, companies, so I say this is what you are doing. Your other state as always is. Now I'm telling the whole world about it. Even if all the media houses in Ghana have decided not to cover your issue because you drive them or give them some sort of enforcement, it still doesn't get the issue because right now the fisherman has come out of the victim. And this is what I answer if I show all the evidence of what I am looking through. I get reaching millions of people in about 10 minutes, and by reaching them too, I get to tell my story. And then it's more like the media areas, as much as there is no, there is little publicity, it's still the truth. And then people are really throw it to the matter. Ordinary citizens or who are customary or professional customers is particular company. So prior to finishing this fashion, I was living on second floor, the roadside. I just want to know that like some friends like them used to back the zone and people essentially that the PR petitions. I don't know if you're learning that for also has something. So let me get some details. All right. So before I didn't go into the hearing section, then before I talked about the fact that we are practitioners, we have studied percentages of guidelines that we follow in order to tackle issues. So we have with us here PRACTITIONER'S, which is Public Relations Science Bureau. Yeah, they're very one of the things that they are pulling is the cylinder. So they said that aside, the original name for the this was actually plays a very important role the PR practice. And that even if you it's even the waste of it. Right. So conceal the matter is actually out of the case, especially in ethical matters. So the right way to go is to use the transparency. Because take as much as you want with information and all that. If you think that you uphold, then you take care to come, you see. And then one thing that is very good is that there's an issue. And the companies we still for in like a person, yes. It actually helps the people know how to experience and terrible that happen with this. That's not that ordinary people and they use and they come and say with their own perspective. So not to cut. Yes, the companies use this, but does not fit the machine. What then does that? Because the company perspective, they actually use $100. They just don't want the story to blow home. Oh, I mean, I'm not doing that. I don't think so like that. This is the thing. What isn't it? Sure. It's actually that we are supposed to minimize financial loss. When this chaos come out, the government, there will be a lot of things. Yeah. It's legal. Once someone's talking for making the thing, or the thing they have happened.
Exactly. On that note, we are going to go for a quick breather, and then we'll come back. We are going to take a look at certain theories that we can use to back everything we are talking about. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. You're welcome back. This is Ethics Unplugged, and we are trying to unplug everything ethics. I'll quickly go back to my ladies and gentlemen in the studio. I really want us to talk about certain theories that you can use to back everything you're saying. I mean, per my little knowledge in PR, I know that theories exist to explain certain phenomena. So, what is that one theory, or what are certain theories that we can speak about that you can, convince me that yes, we shouldn't pay the transportation monies, because I am seeming to err on the part of caution when it comes to all of that.
All right. So, talk of theories.
Mhm.
Theories are simply certain principles or guidelines that are used to explain a phenomenon
Yeah.
or an appearance.
All right.
So there are actually a lot of theories since the inception of PR as a field of study or a field of practice. And there has been several theories that have come out, and then practitioners use these theories to solve issues and using crisis management and other PR functions. But in this particular case, I think one of the theories that really is applicable is the utilitarianism.
Utilitarianism.
Yeah.
Okay.
So talk of the utilitarianism theory. This theory looks at the consequentialist point of view.
Okay.
So it looks at the greater good. So what works for the majority? Yes. And looking at this particular case, you could see that the company is just a fraction. Like
Right. I can see, because the majority seems like the fishermen, right?
You see, even though they might not be your target audience or whatever at this point, they are still the public.
Yeah.
You are still appealing to people, and then you should, the people's interest should be at heart.
Okay.
So looking at the greater good of the majority, then you should also consider the fact that these people are victims, and they are not just mere people. These people might be breadwinners and other things. And their opinions also do matter.
Okay.
And for someone like a fisherman to voice out and then say that this is what you have caused to them, that's a big blow.
Right.
So there is actually an approach towards it. So looking at the utilitarian theory, you're looking at the consequences of your actions.
Okay.
And then it goes, the victims are the fishermen,
Right.
and the effects are on them. So what do you do to solve their problem? That is what we should look at. And beforehand, I was even suggesting that we compensate them because they really do need it. Aside everything, like if we are not even taking things into consideration right now, you should also think about, I mean, what if it was you, put yourself in the people's shoes? In PR, we prioritize empathy a lot.
Right.
Because for a PR practitioner, you stand as a liaison between the people and then the public and then the organization.
Okay.
So if I'm not able
Okay, now you're convincing me. Miss Charity, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, we can also look at the ontology theory,
Okay.
which doesn't focus on the consequences of the actions. But then this theory is telling you that if it is the right thing, then do it. And then as part of it, you're supposed to be honest and then have respect for it. You know, a PR practitioner is a betweener for the company and then the public.
Okay.
So to avoid future risks of the people getting to know the truth later on, which will tarnish the image of the organization. We realize that so these people didn't tell us the truth. This was actually what was happening, and they didn't tell us. Just tell them the truth. Just be honest to them.
Right.
Also have this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is also a theory that is used to tackle issues, and I feel like it's very applicable in this manner.
Okay.
This particular theory talks about your personal view and doing things from your personal discretion or your personal conviction. So what do you uphold as a human being, or as even a PR person?
Right.
What do you uphold? Respect, honesty, all these virtues. Do you uphold them higher? Do you think that it's applicable in this case? And then as a PR practitioner, one of the things that I believe in is transparency.
Right.
I believe that it's good to open up to the people. Like people like it when you tell them the truth. even if it
It
hurts.
hurts. Yeah, that's true though.
Yeah,
That's true.
because once it's told by a third party, it means that you were trying to conceal it. And that puts a question mark on your credibility,
Right.
your accountability as well. So even if you come out to say anything, the people feel like it might be a half-baked story.
Right.
So from my personal conviction, I choose transparency or disclosure. And then I can also take that thing from the PRSA code of conduct.
Okay.
So in the PRSA code of conduct, there's a section called the ethical standard. The ethical standard. So we have disclosure, and then it talks about disclosure being an intentional release of information to facilitate transparency, openness, access, and then accountability. So just like I was saying, even though you might think that going through the back door is the right way, I mean, if you're able to pay these reports, to save us the stress of having to go through all these complex tasks. But it's better you tackle the issue right in the face that pass through the back door with the things that are unethical, because in the end, like we usually say, you cannot conceal a matter for
so
years.
long, of course. There would always be a blowout one day. Well, I tend to agree. I mean, on that aspect. Managers, is there anything you would have to say? Because right now, I do believe that even our viewers are more convinced that the ethical way is the right approach to this whole issue. Is there anything you'd have to say?
You're not right. Yeah,
Thank you. Okay.
this. And for stability.
Mm.
So it's not like we are lying to them. We are managing it.
Oh. So you're just hiding the facts. It's not like you're turning it upside down. Okay.
This massage of each you is what is going to bring. That's it money for using to pay you.
Interesting.
That same money you're talking about, the money you are going to use, right?
Right.
And then you are saying you are not lying. Nobody's talking about lies here. That's why I use the the idiomatic expression. So I didn't say you were lying.
Right.
I'm just saying that as much as you are not lying, silence
consent. That's true.
So
Some doors
oh yeah.
Yeah. So as far as you are silent about it, it means that. And before I even spoke about disclosure, I talked about the fact that even delayed disclosure is unethical. So maybe you might say that, I'm not trying to conceal this matter, but for the meantime, let's just pay these people so that they don't go and then talk about this particular But in the long run, what are you going to tell your even though you didn't tell them that this is the issue, the people know that you had an intention of lying. They just didn't give you the platform, or perhaps you felt like the right way to go was to maneuver your way through the issue, but that's not the right way to do. Even as a PR practitioner, even as an ordinary person, it's not right. We all have religious values and other things, so why not apply them? We have them for a reason, right? There are people who lived before us and they analyze things, and they found out that there are actually right ways of doing things. So why not adopt them, but try and then find other ways?
I for some reason they've convinced me, manager. I don't know what you did here, because I am come to believe that as much as it's going to hurt to tell the truth, I think it's right that you let them know what is happening, just so they can even know how to prepare for this disaster, how to work around it. Probably if they had to find another water body to even be fishing from, at least for the meantime, or something of that nature, until the situation is managed or even fixed thoroughly. So yes, I think I agree with the practitioners.
And I also believe that these journalists or reporters also have their code of ethics.
I agree.
And I think there is no code of ethics that's going to condone hiding information from you.
Right. Right.
All that I know is that throughout all the ethics that I've come across, they emphasize transparency a lot because they know what the people see in transparency.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned accountability.
Yes, yes.
All these
That
things.
trust is there. That's true.
People can trust you to
That's true.
all these things. So
That's true.
And then I think they can just
Hmm.
tell them about the situation,
Mhm.
what happened, and then give them assurance of measures they are going to take.
Put in place. Exactly.
yeah.
And then
Exactly.
support them as well.
Right.
I would always want to have a relationship with a company which is credible. I know you're not lying to me, so I
Hmm.
trust you.
Yeah.
I believe we have spoken a lot, spoken at length about this. I am convinced, I don't know about you, but I do believe that the right way to go is the ethical way. We will take a breather here. I do have some media personalities with me in the house. They're also going to come in and share their opinion on this whole transport money saga. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to Ethics Unplugged, and of course, I'm your moderator, Clarissa Bando. I currently have with me an astute gentleman and an astute lady who are here as media representatives to also give their own 2 cents on the topic we are discussing. Of course, we can't leave the media out because they are the ones that the managers want to offer transport money. So right now, since we're talking about ethics, of course, we have to know in their line of work too, is it really necessary to even want to take anything to suppress certain information, especially one as serious as the one we are discussing right now? I have with me Miss Dorcas Mate. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I also have with me Mr. Benjamin Owusu. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So talk to me. Let's talk media. This situation, at a point, I initially met with the management representatives and then, of course, the students practitioners. And at a point, I was a little convinced. I was like, you know what? Why don't we just pay the journalists? I mean, how does it hurt? It's not that bad, right? But then the student practitioners also, they did a thing. They really convinced me that, I mean, who are you or what's the profession without ethics? So now I need to hear from the media people. What do you have to say about this whole thing? Let me hear from Mr. Benjamin
Okay.
first.
So, as the media, I do not agree the media people or the media perspective to take that
Transport money.
yeah,
Can you
that
imagine?
transport one, we call the bribery, which they call it bribery.
Yes.
But because media people always do things objectively and do not do their things subjectively.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
please.
That's great. Miss Dorcas, let me hear from you.
So as you said earlier, PR practitioners give you some ethics that governs their line of work.
Yeah.
We also, as the media, we also have ethics that also
Okay.
governs us.
Okay,
So,
educate me.
Yes, the organization they are planning to give us what they call transport money.
And in this point, I can even call it no curfew. No curfew.
No curfew, yes, no curfew.
Yeah.
But as professionals, we also have codes of ethics that guide us.
Right.
Which
Right. Okay.
it says we shouldn't take these things called bribe that will make us pull back or withdraw from certain important information we should give to our public. As you know, as media, we disseminate information.
Of course.
So what information are we disseminating if you are taking money to hide them?
Right. Right.
Then
That's true.
if everybody wants to give us money to hide their information, then
Imagine what kind of information will even come out.
I should then we
I
have to
see.
cook our own things to give us.
Right.
So
Right.
we as as the media, PR practitioners give us information, we disseminate it to the public.
Right.
If they are trying to give us money, we don't accept that. That's not people might, but in our field, it's against our ethical
So in situations where people from the media have ever taken these kind of monies to conceal information, what would you have to say about that? I mean, you've made the points that it's not right. But in the situation where someone has already done that, what then do we do about the whole thing? Because we are privileged to be here discussing this, right? But assuming the the organization is able to successfully give these monies, then like what would be the implication then?
Okay, as you said,
Mm.
if people have already done it, it's against our work. It's against our profession.
Right.
You've done it. There is this theory that says, should your action be made a universal law? If what I'm doing, I'm taking bribe. Now, every universal law says,
Right.
everybody take bribe. The doctor takes bribe from someone and says, I'm not giving you treatment. Someone else says, I'm taking bribe. I'm not giving you treatment.
I could have taken a bribe and not bring you on the show. You know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
So it's very bad. I don't know how to put it, but it's to be a professional, you should go according to what governs you. You should know that in my work, I should do this, to make me credible. Everyone needs that credibility, something on them.
Right.
So if you want to be a professional, not just a wayside journalist, a wayside media, there are ethics you need to follow to govern you, to make you the professional, the credible professional that you need to be.
I agree. Mr. Benjamin, is there anything you'd like to add?
Anything I like to add? So let's say we the media, we disseminate information.
Right.
So whenever everybody bribe or bring that transport money, it won't help our work
At all.
we deal with objective. And we, the media, we always bring out royalties and trust because of the work we do. The people have trust in us because when anything we bring it out, always disseminate the people, make the people have some info about what we are talking about. So we, the media, we don't do that.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, I believe we have heard from the media representatives. Everything is driving to the fact that it is important to uphold ethics in everything we do. PR especially because this is a field that has to deal with publics and an organization. So basically you are that relationship between the two. You are the one handling it. So as a PR person, if you are ever being even coerced, forced into issuing bribes for the sake of covering up certain information, you should know that you're not doing the right thing. I am going to call back into the studio one of our managers representatives, and then one of our student practitioners. So we wrap this up quick. And for the final takeaway on Ethics Unplugged, I do have the management representative and, of course, the student practitioner here with me to further divulge this whole issue and then know the remedies that we can take. Or, well, as PRs being the ethical arm of the management now, what they can advise management to do about this whole situation. So let's take it away. Management. I believe you have admitted defeat now because
I was talking from the mind of a mere person, or basically someone who does not know more about the ethics in this situation.
Right.
I would encourage management to allow PR practitioners to start working, to start doing what they know how to do best in such a situation.
I agree.
Because they know the rules and regulations. They know what goes into some of these things. Crisis management is one of their core things that they deal with.
Right.
Now the situation should be left to them. Whether you're the one paying them or not, I think you should let them do what they know how to do.
I mean, you're paying them to do that. So why not allow them just to function? Exactly.
So I think we should look at the long-term reputational damage that what we are fixing now.
Yeah.
Because if we fix it now and there are still holes in there, then the whole issue will trickle down again some days to come.
Right.
That will be very detrimental to the reputation of the company.
Right.
So now I
Right. Well said. I know, right? Well said. So Miss Anastasia, hooray! Victory is yours. So can you now let us know what steps you intend to take this whole situation through?
Yes. All we're planning on how this issue can be kept and then kept an ethical way.
Right.
But right now, he's no more a money. Actually, the PR ethic
Right.
now understands everything
Mm.
that has to go inside and out of the hostage
Right.
to help heal it. So, the first thing that I would like to say is acceptance and solution.
Mhm.
So, acceptance and solution is the side of the camp because we need to accept the fact that we have faulted the people.
Right.
Yeah, we are at fault, and then we are going to make amends,
Mm.
and then we are going to put measures in place to,
Okay.
try and then help the
situation.
situation.
Right.
Because there are people involved, people's livelihood depends on these
Mm.
whatever they do. So if our operation is
Mm.
posing a threat to these people, then it means that we should try and then do something in the shortest possible time, to try and then make amends to
Amends.
the situation.
Okay. So in this case, then you would release like a press statement.
Then this will be a first statement.
Why not a press conference?
That's a very good question. There are different PR to care different PR issues. I
Right.
hope you get what I'm saying.
I do.
So in this particular issue, even though there are numerous PR tools that we could utilize, but I make mention of first statements for a reason.
Mm.
First statements in the sense that even though PR is looking out to foster a two-way or a balanced relationship, sometimes we really don't want to be bombarded with questions and other things. And then if we release a first statement, we get to let the people know what we are going to do. So maybe after we have brought out the solutions, then we bring a press conference. But
Okay.
if all of a sudden the issue is not here, nothing has happened, people are on our next talk. And then the only thing we do is to bring out a press conference. Then the media is going to bombard us with questions that are going to, restrict us. They are going to make us say things that we are not even
Ready to say.
sure.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
the issue has to be solved first. Then we do a press conference so that we have answers to every other issue. So
Okay. Okay. Yes, because she said she was advising you back door. I was about to say, what did she say?
The advice went really well, and I've learned a lot from her.
Okay.
And I think what she said is right. Press conference, all of a sudden, there are templates that have raised here. There are, the issue might even agitate.
Right.
In
Exactly.
this situation, release a press statement. Whatever you say you are going to do in there, make sure that you win the people's trust. But because in this situation, they've lost a bit of trust in you. To gain that trust that you have built over time, release a press statement saying that this and that I accept, and these and that are the situations that I'm going to go through, or the processes I'm going to go through to solve this issues, and make them know that you are really working.
Right.
Don't tell them and go and sit back and say, "Oh,
You've
done
spoken
this
to
situation,
them,
I'm not
so
going to say anything."
okay.
Really, indeed, it's work towards that you have said.
Okay.
So yeah, that is also my take on that.
Well, yeah, of course I agree, because if you ruin my livelihood and you come and tell me you're going to fix a situation and you don't fix it, I might as well just kill you. But yeah. No, I'm telling you, because people depend on these things. Okay. We are talking about a community that solely depends on fishing. If you destroy the water body, they don't depend on farming. They don't depend on anything else. So basically you are taking away what they survive on. It's still exactly. They even have to fetch the water to, water the plants and all of that. So yeah, I totally agree with Mr. Gerald Jabba, and of course the winner for the day, Miss Anastasia Opoku. This has been Ethics Unplugged. We were here to discuss the oil spillage and then what an ethical PR person was going to do about this situation. We do hope that we've been able to convince and not confuse you on how ethics work in PR, and the reasons we need to uphold the ethics when it comes to PR. If you're out there and you're practicing PR, please ensure that you're doing the right thing by the people and not just fall on your loyalties to your work or your organization. As long as it's benefiting the people at the end of the day, and of course, not just shoving your organization in the back door, then I think we are good. Thank you so much for your time, and we are going to see you on another session.